super wealthy have begun leaving the UK in record numbers.
Labour's tax plans trigger an exodus of millionaires.
Look, what can we say? We don't believe the figures. We think the figures are bogus.
Rising taxes and a crackdown on non-dom residents.
Because the exodus is absolutely enormous.
Is the Labour government considering a wealth tax, yes or no?
We don't believe the figures. We think the figures are bogus.
Donald Trump dropped an anti-Semitic slur.
But if you love them or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks.
As much as I might criticize Marjorie Greene, she tweeted, "I am introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere. I have been researching weather modification and working with the Legislative Council for months writing this bill. We must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification."
Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, welcome, guys. What is up? What is going down? How are we doing? What's up? A doff of the cap to the Patreons. Quick what's up to the YouTube channel members. Hope you're all well. Hope we're all enjoying ourselves. And we're all ready for another midweek episode here of Abe Thompson and Other Disappointments. People. Guys, so yeah, how are we doing? Are we all good? Are we all happy? Are we all satisfied? Now that nasty Epstein business is all, put to bed. It's all done and dusted now, isn't it? It's all clarified, I think. It's all shut down, is what it is. What did I tell you? What did I tell you like a year ago? Right? All's well that ends well. Right? All of those times that you read about the girls, the kidnapping, the trafficking, the blackmail, the death threats, and you thought to yourself, God, how ugly, how awful, and harrowing. I just hope that this can all be over someday. And now it is. Now it is. It's all over. Case closed, guys. Now Pam Bondi, is that her name? I keep worrying that I'm mispronouncing her name. Now that Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice are like, yeah, that's it. I think we got to the bottom of it. I think that's it. Case closed, lads. I think we can all move on now. Is what they're saying. I mean, I feel like justice was done. I don't know about you guys. So that's been a big story this week. A positive start for the week, I think. What else has been happening? Somebody messaged me actually just before I came into the cabin to do this episode for you, and they said that Donald Trump has thrown a bit of a tantrum about it. Like he's fed up. He doesn't want to be asked about it.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
It's like, well, then you are shit out of luck then, aren't you? Because this is the problem with like cover-ups and like whitewashes and not answering questions, is then you just allow the speculation to ferment and fester and rot.
This guy's been talked about for years.
Like if you release the list, it's just like, oh, there's the list and here's some names that are on it or are not on it, and then that's it. Then it really is case closed. If you try to fuck people off by hiding stuff or pretending that there is no list mere weeks after saying there is a list and it's on her desk and she's just waiting to sign it off.
Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
I mean, that's where the feeling of unresolvedness comes from, isn't it? That's where further questioning will stem from.
Are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
So yeah, I'm not sure, look, if you don't want to be endlessly asked about this thing, one approach that you could take is to answer the fucking questions. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. What else has been happening? The world's first AI band, people, have covertly stealthily been manufactured and produced and put onto Spotify. I think, did I talk about this on a paper review or something? Or maybe did I use it for like a weird news segment or something? But at the time, like, I remember when I was talking about it, I was like, is it even like, has it been confirmed that it's AI? And now it has been confirmed that this band are completely AI generated, and they were created by, you know, some fucking engineer out there, put onto Spotify, and they garnered 300,000 listeners a month. Guys, I don't know if you saw this. They're called Velvet Sundown, or The Velvet Sundown. I don't know which, if they have the or whatever. But yeah, 300,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. No trace of them that they've ever existed, any of these people. Because they're AI, right? They're just completely, you know, they've done an image on Grok or Midjourney or something like that. The bio that is uploaded, because when you create an artist on Spotify, you got to give them a bio. Or like, you know, when you upload a song to YouTube, you put a little bio, a little bit of blurb there. And the songs that were on the Spotify profile, they went through an AI audio analysis process on a guy called Rick Beato, who I think I've spoken about before. He's got a YouTube channel, a very successful YouTube channel, in fact. He's a record producer, session musician. He's played on a few albums. And he found out about this band, the Velvet Sundown, and he put one of their songs through his like AI analysis processing thing, and it came out with all of these red flags going like, yeah, this is totally AI. Like, what the fuck is this? What are you feeding me? Because all of the, like, when you try to extract the drum sound and you try to extract the bass sound, it can't do it because it's learnt how to generate music off fully finished, mixed, mastered songs is what it's been fed into the modeling, right? It doesn't know what a drum track is or what a drum and bass mixed down sound like. So then when you try to extract the sound of the drum, like the bass and the organs sort of bleed into it, it's really muddy and murky. So it sounds like AI, according to this AI analysis thing. The bio reads like it's been generated by, you know, DeepSeek or ChatGPT. And now it's been confirmed that they are indeed an AI band. They're not real. AI band, the Velvet Sundown, officially confirmed that they are AI. Like, I like the way that it's written. It's like, you know, they've put out a statement where they confirm that they are officially AI generated. And it's kind of got me thinking, you know, about how long it's going to be before AI content creators wipe the floor with us meager YouTubers. You know? It's a topic we've sort of touched on before, isn't it? Along the way. Is my fear that YouTube is just going to be like your feed when you log on to YouTube and you see all the videos with all the shocked faces. Like that with a big title. People ranting and raving or vlogging or content creating about whatever the big news story is that day. Well, pretty soon, your feed, your algorithm is going to be dominated. It's going to be awash with fucking AI slop pundits, just manufactured, generated vloggers and content creators is where we're headed. Or at least that was my fear. Until very recently. Because I was thinking, you know, how disinterested I would be personally in soulless machine-generated analysis, you know, about something. And I felt kind of paradoxically quite pumped, quite enthused and inspired by that, you know. Like, I don't personally think I would have any interest whatsoever in listening to a beautiful image speak ChatGPT bilge at me. I don't think that would have much interest for me. So why would it to other people? Like, I think you kind of lose something when it's not a real person, don't you? I think most people would rather listen to a real person, to a real human being, right? Like, we all know what it's like when you click on one of these news videos, like, oh, what's Prince Harry said now? And then it goes on to like an AI thing, like, Prince Harry was in blah, blah, blah. Immediately you click off, you go on to something else. Nobody wants to listen to machine-generated content. Immediately you lose interest, right? If you know that it's a machine that's done it. So I was thinking, you know, in response to this AI ban, I was thinking how actually, in terms of like content creators, then it could actually kind of work in my favor, right? Because 95% of these AI avatars, if you've explored the platforms that create them and offer them to you, if you sign up for a subscription, then they'll let you like use the avatar and make it say anything.
Donald Trump is on the list.
Right? 95% of those avatars are pretty Americans with perfect teeth, right? So, like, I mean, then if you, like, if machine learned AI avatars talking that stuff to you is not your thing, if you're not into that, and then you see a video by me looking like this with these fucking teeth, like, at least, you know, to date, my Achilles heel has probably been this, I imagine. All of this that you're dealing with. But it could turn out to be my trump card. Could turn out to be the ace card for me. Is that it's obvious to even a casual observer that AI would never have generated this. Like, if this right now, if this was AI generated content, the technology itself would have tripped out. It would have been like, well, hang on a second, like, the teeth look a little bit off, and like the ears stick out. No, we'll re-render it, run it again, put it back through the model. So yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, maybe this whole AI thing will actually work out really well for distinctly average looking men. Maybe it's like, you know, maybe it's like back in the day, nobody took Eminem seriously because he was a white rapper. And then he ended up flipping that card around, and then he ended up selling more because he was a white rapper, right? Like, maybe this is the content creation version of that is, you know, what I was wondering. What else is going on? So the wealth tax, guys, is obviously a big thing this week. I was trying to work out why it suddenly gathered speed. You know, like, what? Why is it now on the front pages of the centre-right and right-wing tabloids? Why is it now suddenly getting airtime? You know, because it's been bandied about for a while by activists, left-wing lobbyists, left-wing think tanks, progressive, independent journalist types, right? Like, why now are we all talking about a wealth tax? Like, imagine how pissed off you'd be if you were Gary Stevenson right now.
I would be absolutely fucking livid.
Just imagine how annoyed you would be if you spend your whole life campaigning and lobbying for a wealth tax, and then the week that it goes off, the week that it blows up, where are you? Where is he? Where is that motherfucker? He's drinking sake in Hong Kong or Japan or something. Like this week? This is the week, is it? That you're going to talk about the way? Oh, you know, he's really missed the boat. Sorry, Gary. And it's to everybody's detriment as well, by the way, that he's not around to talk about this while it's blowing up, because nobody makes the case more earnestly or coherently than him, do they? I don't think. You know, he's a great communicator. He's lived through the poverty in his upbringing. He's engaging to listen to. And people are often, you know, on the right, people are often like, well, he wasn't even the best trader in the world, though. Like, he said he was the biggest, bestest, amazing trader in the world when he was at Citibank, but I don't think that he was. And I'm always like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know the guy. So I don't know his entire biography or whatever. You know, whether he made 3 million or 10 million, though, doesn't change the chess pieces for me. Do you know what I mean? Like there is ballooning inequality it is inarguably getting worse. So maybe we should look at that, right? And then, yeah, but he wasn't the best trader in the world, though. He wasn't. I'm like, okay, so he doesn't have a point about anything. Well, yeah, that's right. Shut the fuck up then. So anyway, yes, a wealth tax is being fought over, pulled apart, strategized, discussed, reanalyzed. It's a big thing this week. And Gary Stevenson, Gary's economics, I think he's just taken a break, hasn't he? Haven't heard much from him. I haven't seen him on any, question time things. I haven't seen any new videos on his channel come up. But in his absence, of course, all of the usual mediums of tedium, all of the pundits, the usual talking heads are doing their thing. You've got your Nick Ferraris, the IEA, the Institute of Economic Affairs, the Telegraph, GB News, Talk TV, all of them are clutching their pearls and doing their level best to convince us that we shouldn't tax the super wealthy.
Is the Labour government considering a wealth tax, yes or no?
So some of the decisions that we've taken in the last year, we have asked those
which has been fun to observe. Because obviously we should, right? It's self-evident that we should. Morally, we should. They pay a distinctly lower rate, like broadly speaking. Less of their money goes on tax than you or I. It's not like they've had a really tough 20 years as well. In parallel with us, they've actually done really well. So morally, economically, fiscally, all of it stacks up. But you can absolutely guarantee, you can bet your bottom dollar, euro or pound, that these think tanks, these lobbyists will absolutely pull out the most ridiculous reasons why we shouldn't, right? So I was having some fun yesterday. I was having some, I was making kind of like parodical predictions on Blue Sky yesterday afternoon. I was trying to think of the most ridiculous reasons for why we shouldn't tax the rich. So see what you think, guys. We shouldn't tax the rich because rich is subjective, isn't it? Because, first we need to define what does rich actually mean, really, right? I mean, we're in a cost of living crisis, aren't we? And frankly, let me tell you, you dirty little pover, frankly, £20 million doesn't go as far as you might imagine. So what is rich really, guys, when you think about it? We should not tax the rich because it's always tax the rich this and, attack the rich for that and, we'll get the bloody rich to pay for it. Well, I'm sorry, no. Okay, it's not fair. We are tired of it. How come you never hear of a wealth tax being applied to poor people's stock portfolios? We shouldn't. I'm going to continue. We shouldn't tax the rich. We should not tax the rich because a lot of these people have generations deep inherited wealth. So it was probably already taxed when it was earned by their slaves and servants and peasants that were in turn owned by those families back in the 1700s or something. So really, it would be like double taxing them, wouldn't it, when you think about it? And no, we should not tax the rich, guys. Of course we shouldn't tax the rich. Those with the broadest shoulders. Of course we shouldn't tax them. And you know why? Because they're not used to it. Rich people don't pay tax. What planet are you living on? What country do you think this is? Our rich people do not pay tax. They won't be used to it. It will bamboozle them. They may well go into shock and everything. Like, what if a couple of them had a bloody heart attack or something? What if they died? It would deprive the poor of another symbol of aspiration to look up to. And you there. Yeah, I see you love. How could you be so bloody callous. Why would you seek to rob the poor of that, of their inspiration to do better in life? Seriously. Why? And I'm never not amazed by the credence that they afford the media, that they afford the IEA, the Institute of Economic Affairs, Tufton Street types, when they talk about this stuff. You know, when the subject of a wealth tax comes up and they invite people on the panel, the credence, the integrity that they just give these people when they get an IEA bot on their panel, on their guest spot, and they, shockingly, as a mouthpiece for the shadowy super rich who donate to the think tank that now employs them and gets them to go and sit on the panel and speak on their behalf, like the plausibility that they allow, the respect that they allow. Like, of course they don't want a fucking wealth tax. They will literally take your house off you and propel you into Victorian levels of deprivation and crushing inequality. They will hoover up your assets and rent them back to your kids. You know, you got some like LBC evening panel thing, and the host is like, oh, coming up next, we've got Timothy Von Smythe from the Institute of Economic Affairs on, and he's going to be talking to us about why we definitely should not be looking at taxing the wealthy more. It's like, why? Why have you got him on there? To give you what, like, fair and balanced and plausible, measured and well-researched advice on this topic? Like, no. I tell you what it's like. It's like asking a rabid pit bull how he feels about muzzles. You know, the host is like, well, so tell us some. Do you think you should have to wear one? And the guy's like, rough, no, too much red tape, too much regulations from the big muzzle lobby. Down with your face nappy muzzle masks and a nanny state. Like, sack off the muzzles and legalize dogfighting. Rough. That is, I mean, I'm joking, right? I'm obviously being a bit ridiculous here, but that's what it's like. You know, what were you asking this cunt for? Of course he doesn't want a wealth tax. And anyway, we talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago, specifically around the study that suggested that rich people were fleeing.
The super wealthy have begun leaving the UK in record numbers.
Labour's tax plans trigger an exodus of millionaires.
That was a study that informed some front pages on the Times and the Telegraph. And it was a piece about the wealth intelligence firm that did the analysis. They got the stats and everything together, but the firm that published it originally, they specialise in supplying visas for the super rich. And the company that did the actual analysis, they just used like LinkedIn profiles as a gauge of where people were saying that they were based, rather than whether they had actually left the United Kingdom. And then it was me like clapping back to the journalist. It was basically like me talking to the Times journalist on Twitter, and we were talking about that on the show. Like me clapping back to him, saying like, why have you said this when this study has been debunked? Like, why is it on the front page again? With all due respect. So anyway. Now that we are talking about a wealth tax, and of course there is this big fear, this big moral panic of like, oh, what if we scare off all the rich people? What if the rich people leave us? I thought it'd be funny to check in on our old friend Nick Ferrari to see how he's handling this. Just bear in mind, right, before we run this, that the study that said that the rich people are leaving has been debunked, and I don't think that the wealth intelligence firm behind it I think they've still yet to provide the data so that it can actually be peer reviewed. So to my mind, it is not credible. We don't think that the rich are leaving in droves, and also about 75 to 80% of the general public are staunchly in favour of a wealth tax. So just bear all of that in mind. Now let's go to our old friend Nick, shall we? Me old mucker Nick.
I suppose, to give them some credit, they lasted just over a year before bringing in a wealth tax. It's the idea to which the Labour Party always turns. Make the wealthy pay more. Are they not aware? But you are talking of tens of thousands of rich businessmen and women, millionaires and billionaires who have left this country.
Okay, it's not tens of thousands. Byline already looked into this. I think like 2024, it was like 9,000 something. So it's nearing 10,000, but it's not tens of thousands, Nick. So not a great start, but let's continue.
Millionaires and billionaires who have left this country, going to places such as Dubai or Italy, where they're far more in tune, and you can buy yourself a sort of golden visa or whatever you want to call it.
So Italy does have a golden visa program. Dubai, I don't think, is a particularly great... Like, people always hold up Dubai as this sort of paragon for how we should treat our rich. Yeah, just let them buy, like, penthouse apartments. Let them have, like, golden limousines. Like, we're the Daily Mail, Daily Express reading patriots, but definitely let the international super rich come into the UK but be untouched by Britishness. From the state school to the public transport, right down to the tax system. But what is the downside to running an economy like that, right? Is you have huge inequality. You have people really suffering, really poor, broke, hungry people. And when they try to rise up or unionize or fight for their rights, what happens? What do we think happens to them in a place like Dubai? And what is the thing that's standing in these people's way, in like a Nick Ferrari's way or a Richard Tice's way? What do we think is the main instrument there that is stopping them from treating the masses, the electorate, the workforce in exactly the same way as they do in Dubai? It's the ECHR, isn't it? No wonder they're so anxious and keen to get rid of it. Let's continue.
People are living and taking with them, we don't know yet, but it is billions.
So this is a key thing, right? Like, they don't take their stuff with them. You know, they have assets, they have investments here, they own property, their kids are here, their companies, their mistresses. Like, maybe what Nick is talking about is, like, you know, if you're an entrepreneur and you've got $50 million in the bank and you've got a choice out of setting up your startup, your business in Dubai, or creating that business here in the UK, you might be more tempted to do it in Dubai if they have a lower tax rate. But the market is still here. Like, the people who buy the product or products are still in the UK. The 3 flats that you own in Mayfair and the 30% share of Thames Water that you invested, like, it's still all in the UK. It can absolutely be taxed, even though these people fuck off.
Rich people who have left, 750,000, it is estimated, will have to pay that. They pay that level of tax to get their money back. 750,000. And I do think it's a strange look for a country that at the airports, billionaires and millionaires are forming an orderly queue to leave.
It's also not true. I think in the Byline Times investigation, they found, it says, for example, 9,500 millionaires that were widely reported to be leaving the UK in 2024 represented 0.3% of the UK's 3 million millionaires. It would take over 300 years for the exodus to result in 100% of current millionaires to leave at this rate, even if no new ones emerged or moved here. There's not a queue of millionaires or billionaires. We also, I think what I mentioned on, like, the time when I was clapping back with the Times guy, we were talking about that the other week. I was like, does any of this factor in, like, the oldies who sell their property, liquidate it, and then move over to Spain? Are we factoring that in? Because that's £1 million, right? 1.5 million maybe. Move out to Spain. That's technically a millionaire who's deserting the UK. Nick's hanging out in Heathrow like, so somebody should stop them.
Their money with them, and obviously firing staff. Look, this is not a life I know, but if I had that kind of money and I had a big house in the Cotswolds, I'd probably have a couple of gardeners, I'd probably have a chef, I'd have a driver. Boom, gone. People losing their jobs. I'd probably keep horses. So there we go, no work for the farriers, and on and on.
There's just no way. I don't know if Nick is pretending not to know this, or if he genuinely, legitimately doesn't know because he's not of that life, as he says. But people who move in those circles don't just liquidate their assets and move everything over to Dubai. Like, they have a country pile here, they'll have a couple of flats in Mayfair, they'll have a penthouse in Dubai, a couple of apartments in New York. Like, how can you credibly believe, how can you truly believe that that the super rich just liquidate their asset and then go and move to a different country when half of central London is a fucking ghost town because it's owned by the super rich, but they just cling on to the assets. They just land bank.
Now, I know many of you are saying, good luck, good riddance, let them go. I don't know that that actually makes a lot of economic sense. So I say again, a nation where they're forming queues at Heathrow Airport if the boss is awake and managed to keep it open for a day, the bungler-in-chief, Thomas Volby, providing the airport is open. Meanwhile, at our shores, people are coming over with absolutely nothing.
Way, there it is. He's managed to get a little snipe in, hasn't he? A little aside toward the asylum seekers. You know, we thought we were talking about tax policy and a wealth tax. Somehow it's become about asylum again. Nick, you clever bastard. Like a magic trick. Like, I wonder what it must be like going out for dinner with Nick Ferrari. You know, like you've ordered your food, you're sat there having a glass of wine, you're talking, you're just getting to know each other. He starts banging on about benefits and the boat. Well, Keir Starmer said he was going to smash the gangs. I don't see any gang smash. What the bloody hell is he playing at? And Nick's date is like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, we were talking about the weather. Like, how have we moved on to this? Again, this is the fourth time, Nick.
In their tens of thousands. So we lose 15 to 20,000 rich men and women, and we gain 22,000 people who are asylum seekers, penniless. We don't know their background, potentially. Some of them, perhaps, Russian infiltrators.
Now he cares. Now Nick Ferrari cares about Russian interference. Okay, this is good stuff.
I swear it, isn't it? William is in Alloa. William, your reaction to what we're hearing. Good morning.
Good morning. It's absolutely incredible. I think we have to remember that success is not a sin. And already, a lot of the rich people, they are leaving in their droves.
17,000.
They're leaving in their yachts.
Again, rich people are not leaving in their droves. This is based on a debunked report commissioned by a company who supply golden visas to the super rich, and their geolocations are based on their LinkedIn profile. There's not queues of them at Heathrow. Works out at 0.something% of all millionaires. Success is not treated as a sin. It just needs to be taxed fairly. Like, how is this so hard to get your head around? It's like, hi, I'm a regular person and I'm on PAYE, and I probably pay, after VAT and fuel duty and, you know, all of the other stuff is deducted, I probably pay about, like, you know, 45% to 50% of my earning on tax. You're a rich guy. How much do you pay? Oh, well, I'm a non-dom and draw everything down in dividends and dodge this, and I put it in that shell company. It works out about 5%, about 7% maybe if it's a really bad year. Oh, right, okay. What about if we just increased that a little bit? What if we increased it just approaching the level that everyone else pays? Why do you hate success?
17,000.
Well, yes.
Yep.
Yes. So soon there'll be no one left to tax. So this is absolutely preposterous. And I think we have to remember that there's other things that they can do to raise money. This country will pay £105 billion on interest. So why don't we have an interest tax? Why don't we reduce that interest down to...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There's other ways that we can raise money. Is there? Okay. What's that? Well, this country pays £100 billion on interest pay. That's true. Yes, we do. Quantitative easing. Loans we pay interest on. Well, what should we do? Well, we should put tax on that. How are you... Like, I don't get it. How do you... Like, the Bank of England magic money, right? Quantitative easing loans. We have to pay interest on those QE loans. But you can't then say, I'm charging some extra stuff on top of my own debt. Like, how? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You completely misinterpreted the master and slave of that dynamic. It's like buying a car with a bank loan. Like, oh, here's my £20,000 to buy the car. Okay, cool. So now I've got a £20,000 debt with the bank. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit shy this month. I'm a little bit broke. Do you know what? I might charge some money on the debt that I have with the bank. Like, how does this make sense? This is the caliber of... I was going to say cooler. This is basically Richard Tysonomics. This is what Richard Tyson thinks we want to do. In fact, he's even worse because he's just like, oh, we should just stop paying the interest. Just defaulting on the bank. Really? Okay. That doesn't sound scary at all. Oh, man. What do you guys think? You have to let me know in the comments. Do you think we're going to get a wealth tax? It's being rumoured that it's going to operate at around sort of, is it 2% on assets of £10 million or above? So if you've got £10 million in assets, then it's like, oh, you've got to pay like 200 grand in tax. There's a lot of people trying to market this as though like this is unreasonable. Like my favourite one today was like, I saw a real like gammon account. It's a guy like stood in front of his white van with like St. George's Cross thing. Like he looked proper gammon. A paid up card carrying member of the Gammonati. Was this guy railing against a wealth tax like he's ever going to have to pay it? I don't think it's ever going to touch you, mate. You know, they say don't judge a book by the cover, but sometimes the illustrations are just so fucking good. Okay, guys. To round off tonight, we don't normally do this on the midweek one. Normally do it on a Friday night. But I thought there's a bit going on over stateside. So join me now as we do a midweek instance of The Week in MAGA. The Week in MAGA. Guys. What's going on over in Trump's America, guys? Marjorie Taylor Greene, friend of the show. Marjorie Taylor Greene, celebrity conspiracy theorist. She's been putting her power and influence to good use again. You might remember a few weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago now, we did a thing about her on the show. I think did she put forward like some sort of biblical, Bible-y, goddy bill? Before, I can't remember what it was now. It was something quite funny, though. I remember taking the piss out of it. I remember at the time, I was like, you know, shouldn't she be like trying to improve her constituents' lives over there, or the equivalent of... Do they call them constituents in America? I don't think I hear that much on US cable news. The people that she's a representative for. You understand what I'm saying, right? Shouldn't she be trying to like improve their lives, lower their taxes, build out infrastructure in Georgia? Like, shouldn't she be doing that? You know, why is she doing this nonsense? Why is she stood up there in the House of Representatives throwing forward a bill to like formally recognize Mar-a-Lago as the Christian Mecca? Make everybody point towards it 2 times a day, bow down to Trump's Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Graceland. She didn't put forward like a bill like that, but she will. Give her time, guys. But anyway, she's back this week with another bill, one of her own bills, because these congressmen, congresswomen, representative types, they write bills and they put them up in the House. They get voted on. It's a good thing for ego, right? It's a good thing for high profileness. I've written a bill and I'm going to put it forward. And, you know, they promote it. They try and get support. Just like they do over here, really. You know, get an amendment in there. Anyway, I'm blethering. Let's get to the point. She's back this week with another bill. This time, no shit. I'm not joking this time. This time, her bill is to prohibit chemtrails. That's what she's expending her political capital on. That's what she's using her office staff, her researchers, you know, the actual legislative writer people that work for her, and lawyers, I guess. This is what she's spending her time doing. Is writing out bills that seek to ban chemtrails, Marjorie. And like, I don't know why I was surprised. Really, I'm never really truly that surprised by anything that Marjorie Taylor Greene does anymore. I think she's batshit. I think she needs to be diagnosed and heavily medicated. I've had saner conversations with my great aunt who was riddled with dementia after Alzheimer's had robbed her of her personality. I've had saner, more coherent conversations with her than I imagine most of Marjorie Taylor Greene's staff have had with her. I'm not kidding. I'm not even half joking. I'm deadly serious. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice that she's taken time out from QAnon and Jewish space lasers to bother to write a bill about another conspiracy theory. Like this is what happens when you go a little bit too deep, right? Like we've all got our conspiracy theories. We've all got things where we're like, well, I mean, maybe, you know, I'm not too sure about that though. You know, Diana in the tunnel back in 1990. Oh, you know, the Twin Towers. Could it be an inside job? We've all got our conspiracy theory that we might, maybe, kind of question a little bit. But this is what happens when you go a bit too deep. Guys, when you spend one too many hours online. 1 foot in the algo. This is what happens. When the conspiracy theories that you perpetuated to distract from the other things, you know, the deprivation, the inequality. Oh, what about the Jewish space station? When the conspiracy theories that you used, that you exploited to get in to power, like you knew that they were horseshit. You used to know that they were rubbish. But then, like now by this point, now you're like 5 years in. Now you've met too many people, too many nutjobs, too many podcast hosts. And now you actually fucking believe it. Now you fuck around and start writing legislation to prohibit the lizard people from ever being able to run for Congress. Like, is that what's happened here? That is what's happened here, isn't it? Is it used to just be a little bit of fun on her weird conspiracy theory blog that she used to write herself before she got elected? But then through the 5G, lab leak, chemtrails, election-denying corners of YouTube, now she actually believes it. And she's expending her time and political capital perpetuating it. I mean, it's her staff that I feel sorry for. It's like, I feel more sorry for her staff than I feel for Neanderthal's staff. Like, do you remember when he took a picture of his junior support staff and like basically like advertised her salary online? Like it was his device, his campaigning device. He was like, well, she only earns like 24K and she's doing all right and she budgets. So that must mean that anyone else that complains about tax levels or deprivation, that they're all talking shit. And meanwhile, his like, you know, office junior is just like, Mr. Anderson, could you not like take a picture of me and like advertise my salary to the internet, please? Anyway, also over in the United States, in the week in MAGA, U.S. Health Secretary RFK Jr. Was telling everybody on Monday night that this company called Mom's Meals. Mom's Meals. Sounds really wholesome, doesn't it? Just like your mama used to make. It's Mom's Meals. RFK Jr. was telling everybody on Monday night this company, they really are one of the solutions for making the country healthy again. Or as RFK Jr. would say, I love this company. It's one of the great... I can't do it. Can't do the Batman voice tonight, guys. Clearly I need to do more vocal warm-ups before I come out here. He said that, yeah, they really are like they're one of the solutions for making the country healthy again. I didn't see again there that makes me, you know, amused. It amuses me. Again. Make America healthy again. Like which rosy utopian healthy America are you harking back to here, RFK? Like I'm really not sure that America was ever healthy. What level of health are you getting back to? Because back in the glory days, back in those golden years that most of the Trumpsters want to hark back to, I'm not sure the diets were that healthy. I really don't think they were. It was like fried egg on top of a steak. Drink it down, wash it down with a couple of Marlboro Lights too. All these blue-collar workers eating steak on their lunch. Yeah, can I get a drink with my fried steak? What do you want, a Coca-Cola? No, you got it. Do I look queer? I want a double whiskey on the rocks. And then they just go back to work. That's every day. They'd be doing that. Chain smoking while they're working. Eating deep-fried fucking triple-stack burgers with grits on the side. Make America healthy again. Anyway, so he was promoting this company, Mom's Meals. They really are one of the solutions for making the country healthy again, right? Which sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds wholesome. Sounds health conscious. And they deliver the food to your door over there. And RFK Jr. Is all about it. He's all about the healthy food being delivered to your door. Can you guess what happened after he promoted this company? After this guy whose quest for perfect health appears to top out at eating a polio sandwich. Can we guess after he promoted this company? Mom's Meals. That's right, guys. The Associated Press did the tiniest bit of research. Like the literal tiniest entry-level piece of research. They just looked up Mom's Meals online and they looked at the fucking menu and they looked at the ingredients and they found that, yeah, it's all like ultra-processed food. It's all like the worst of it. The stuff that gives you arse cancer. It's horrendous. And this is what I mean. It's like, we're not supposed to call these people stupid, are we? Well, I talked a little bit about that last week, I think, on the Friday night show. We're not supposed to call them stupid. But honestly, these people are fucking amateur hour, open mic, try hard, end of the pier, village talent show, pretend politicians is what they are. Like, these aren't bright, smart people. This is not the best of the best. But do you know what they are? Do you know what they are? They actually, like, if you look at like Hegseth, Trump, RFK Jr., Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the blonde bitch that does the daily briefings, goes out into the car park and holds hand and prays with everyone. Do you know what they are? Like, all of them. They're not politicians. They're clerics. That's all they are. They're clerics. They've been elected to office. They've been elected to government or roles very, very close to government based on the fact that they are superficially a little bit more religious. That's it. That's all it comes down to, is that you've got a load of floating voters in actually quite a religious country, and all of the red states are always going to vote red, and all of the blue states are always going to vote blue, and then in the middle you've got the floating voters and these super, super religious types who are like, well, you know what, I would vote for the Bidens or I would vote for Kamala Harris, but they're not as turbo-Christian. They don't pretend to hold the Bible and take Christianity seriously. This guy, I know he's a liar. I know he's a liar. I know he's probably not even Christian. I imagine he'd probably burst into flames if he set foot in a church. But I would rather have a lying Christian than someone who doesn't acknowledge or even pretend to acknowledge, like, the church. Like, that is the choice. That is the choice, is they would rather have a sort of superficially pretend Christian up at the helm than somebody else being honest about not being that. Give me a pretty liar over an ugly, faithful person any day of the week. Always give me the pretty liar. That is the way up that they've gone with. And they have made their choice. And now they're going to have to deal with it because people like RFK Jr., people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Hegseth, Trump, all of them are underqualified. They are not suited to even positions 5 or 6 or 10 levels lower than the one that they have attained by being superficially Christian. And so by them being so ill-equipped and underprepared and ill-qualified, they're going to make mistakes. And the only thing that we can do when we see that is point it out and fucking laugh about it. So, guys, I gotta go. That's it for this one. I'll be back on Friday night at 7:30 for the Friday night live show, of course. Make sure that you are subscribed. A lot of people are not subscribed still to the channel, even though you do watch the videos, and that is awesome. But a little bit more support would be amazing. It is free after all. I, of course, have a clips channel, so if you just want to take the podcast in like little 5-minute clips, then obviously that is great. Go and sub to that also. And if you are in a position to, do consider joining the Patreon, which starts at only £1 a month. Until next time, keep it booch, keep it influencer. I am out this motherfucker.